So this is DXY on the daily time frame. We have a downtrend. Looking at this price action, we had this impulse, this is a corrective phase, and based on this pattern, price is likely to break to the upside. So what we were looking for was selling opportunities since we were on a downtrend. So I'll go down on the lower time frame. So this is the 1 hour time frame. The market opened right here for last week, and then we saw price breaking this low. This was a support. Price just took out this support. And then we know that whenever there is an impulse, there is always a correction. Right? So we waited for the pullback phase, and on the pullback phase, this is what I saw on the 15 minutes time frame. I saw this setup somewhere here. So I sent this trade to the premium group, right? And what I was looking for was an impulse correction and also an impulse. This is just the inner section of the bearish flag, right? So we have this impulse, we have this inner section. What we were looking for was a push to the upside to also complete this first, second, third touch, which will also correlate with this previous support level acting as resistance, right? So what we were looking for was an entry confirmation at this level. So we waited for price to get to this level. Let's just see how price got there and the confirmation that we got. So finally, when price reached this level, I saw this engulfing pattern in this key area. And this gave me an entry confirmation to sell, right? And since I was looking at the DXY is just the opposite of the EURUSD, right? They autocorrelate, which means if the DXY is going down, the EURUSD is going up because we are dealing with the dollar. So I'll show you right here how you can compare two pairs. So on TradingView at the top left, you can click this button right here. This is the compare button. And then we can compare one pair to the other, right? So I'm going to compare the DXY with the EURUSD. And this is what we have right here. So this orange line is the EURUSD. And you can see when the EURUSD is going down, the DXY is going up, right? When the DXY is also going down, the EURUSD is going up. So they don't move in the same direction. They move inversely. So if I scroll back, it looks like a mirror, right? Here, EURUSD was going up. DXY was going down. So whenever I see a setup on the DXY, I just take the opposite on EURUSD. So I saw this sell setup on DXY. I went on the EURUSD and right away took a buy position. And also looking at this structure, this was my first touch, second touch. When I saw this sell, I anticipated that price is likely to come to this level to create a third touch, which will also correlate with this next support level, right? And then we'll be looking at this area to see if we're going to get any reversal pattern to the upside. Until then, we will just focus on selling opportunities. So when I saw this sell, I was expecting price to actually drop for the week. Let's see how it played out. So back on the 15 minutes, this is how price started moving. So price finally came to hit our take profit, and as you can see, price was very corrective at this level, right? Which means we had to stay in this trade for a very long time. This trade was taken on Tuesday, and then price came to hit our profit on Friday. So we can see we stayed in the trade for the whole of the week, right? So one thing about the market, when it consolidates for a very long time, there is always an impulsive move that follows. So as I said, we took this trade actually on the EURUSD when we saw this confirmation on DXY. So I'll go on EURUSD and show you the opposite of what we did here. So on DXY, we saw price taking out the support level, right? We took out the support, came back as retest, and then we took the sell, right? So on EURUSD, this was also the opposite. We saw price breaking this resistance, came back and retested and then shot to the upside. So we had the same approach that we saw on DXY, right? So I'll go down on the lower time frame and then we will also compare the entry. So this was our recent resistance level that got broken. Price broke this level, came back correctively, and this is where we saw the sell on DXY. So once I saw the sell on DXY, I got in here for a buy, stop loss here, and then my first take profit, I was just looking to my left to see the next resistance level, right? So I'll show you my next resistance level. It was right here. So I saw this level to be my first take profit, but you can see on the 4-hour time frame, price actually smashed through this take profit level. And then price went to the upside impulsively. Also, we had the CPI news that came in to give the market momentum. And then you can see price just went up to finally hit our take profit. So on the 1-hour time frame, once I saw this big move to the downside, followed by a bullish candlestick, I just brought my stop loss to the break even, right? Which means I'm no longer putting any risk on the table. And then price went up, and I also observed that price was failing to break this level, right? We went up, it came down, tried again, it failed, came down, tried again, it failed. I saw this engulfing candle, and then I closed my trade right here. So this was a very nice entry that we took just by comparing the DXY and the EURUSD. Let's also take a look at USDJPY. This structure looks very similar to the DXY, right? Because we're also dealing with the dollar. So on this pair, I was just looking for selling opportunities. If you watched the previous video where I talked about this level, right? This was a support level. I saw price right here. That was last week. And I was anticipating that price could possibly reverse to the upside because I saw this level right here. I saw this first touch, second touch, and then third touch, right? Then I saw this could be a possible left shoulder, head. Price could just create a right shoulder and then go up. But that's not what price did. So I had two scenarios. It's either we're going to have this reversal pattern or price will just break down and then we will continue focusing on our selling opportunities. So going forward, I was targeting this next support level. So I had my first touch right here. I extended this here, first touch right here, second touch, and price could possibly come here, create a third touch, and then we could just reverse to the upside, right? So I'll go down on the lower time frame just to show you the entry reason I had on this pair. So on the 4H time frame, this is where everything looks very clear. So I had this lower low structure. There's a lower high, a new lower low, lower high, a new lower low, and then price pulled back to this same highs, right? Which means structure is still in play. We are still on a downtrend, right? And then price moved down impulsively. This impulsive move gave me everything that I was looking for because, you know, after every impulse, there is always a correction, right? So I saw this impulse. I was thinking this could be a possible area where price could just reverse to the upside and then complete the left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. But that's not what happened. I saw price just moving correctively, and this gave me a bearish flag or a continuation pattern to the downside, right? We had this impulse, this is a nice correction, and then this was expected to break to the downside because it's a continuation pattern. With my entry reason, price was just creating high highs and high lows. We had a change of character with this impulsive break to the downside. I got in right here, stop loss here, and then my take profit was this next support level, even though I was just anticipating price to come here to possibly create a third touch at this level, right? But this was my first take profit. Looking at the structure of the market, this was an impulse, correction, and then an impulse. So price moved exactly as I was expecting, and then this was also solid, right? I shared this also in a premium group. Those who are in the premium group, you guys know how we are just killing the market, right? So this was also a nice setup that we saw. And then you can see when price took out this low, we still had this impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, right? So this is also a nice setup. Price is approaching this level of support, and you can see how the momentum is reducing, right? If you compare this impulsive move, this is a correction, this is a straight impulse. You can see price is just correcting right here. And then this could also be a possible structure that will just reverse, give us a reversal pattern, and then change its trend to the upside. Or if price breaks this low, we will just focus on selling opportunities, right? In trading, you don't want to lead the market. You just want to follow the market, right? So we are just following the market structure instead of leading the market. This EURJPY on the daily time frame, we had an entry which was very similar to the USDJPY. So on this time frame, we have a downtrend, right? This is a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low structure, right? So let me go down on the 4H time frame. On the 4H time frame, price was just pulling back. We had a lower low, this was a lower high, a lower low, and then price was just pulling back, right? This was a very deep pullback because you can see price pulled back to the previous highs. And then you can see how price pulled back to the high. This is very corrective, right? I always say whenever you have a resistance or a support level, you need to focus on how price is getting there. Are we getting there impulsively like this, or we are getting there correctively? You can see this was a nice corrective structure. And if you understand patterns, this is also a rising wedge pattern that can possibly break to the downside, right? So I'll go down on the 1H for you to see how it played out. We had price breaking to the downside, then this is where we spotted an entry. So this was our first entry. We took this on the 15 minutes time frame. This was a textbook trade, right? So we had an impulse, there's a correction. We just took our entry right here with our stop loss at this level. And then our overall take profit was the 90% area of this level. So price broke down, we entered into profit, and then we also scaled in. So if I should delete this, you can also see we have a nice pattern right here. We also took this trade on the 5 minutes time frame, right? Whenever price is moving down, we're always going to have these structures, this impulse and correction. So this was also a nice impulse. This is the same entry, right? You can see this an impulse, correction, an impulse, correction. We took the entry here, stop loss here. with the take profit at the same level. So we had two trades running at the same time. Then price finally came to our take profit level. When price got to our anticipated level, we also saw a break to the downside, right? Which means price is basically going to continue to the downside. And then we were looking at the next support level. So going forward, we also took another entry right here. This was also the same entry. We had an impulse, we had a nice flag. We went down the lower time frame to spot the confirmation. And then we took the entry with our stop loss here. And then where my final take profit was at this level, right? This was my final take profit. Now the 1 hour time frame, this was also a level that I was looking at since it was Friday. I didn't want to hold this trade over the weekend, right? So when price got here, we started rejecting, pulling to the upside. I just closed the trade. But going forward, this is still a downtrend, and what we can possibly expect is a correction phase like that, and then a final move to the downside. If this breaks to the downside, then we will still focus on selling opportunities. But if we get to this area of value and then we see any reversal pattern or any reversal confirmation that indicates that price is going to go to the upside, we'll shift our bias and then start looking for buying opportunities. But until then, this is still a downtrend, and what we are looking for is selling opportunities. Let's take a look at USDCHF. This trade was actually a loss, and I'm going to explain to you how we took this trade and how it resulted in a loss. So this is exactly where the market opened for last week. We had an open right here, and then we had a support level, right? So this was our support level. Price took out this support level, which means we had a break of structure. What I was looking for was selling opportunities, and I'm not going to sell low. Possibly I'm just going to wait for a pullback and then sell high. So I had this first level as my area of value, and then I went on lower time frame to spot an entry. So we will go down on the 15 minutes time frame. So on this time frame, this is what I saw. This was the loss. So I'm going to cut it, and then you're going to think with me, right? So we had this price trading in this area of value. Let me just fast forward it, right? So price was failing to break above. This was the first resistance. This was the second resistance, and this could possibly be a double top pattern, right? So I was just looking at this pattern carefully. Price came back to this level, and then what did the price do? It pushed up again to that same level, right? It failed to break above and then came down impulsively. So I confirmed that, okay, this is a triple top pattern, right? It's the first top, second top, and then third top. So I'll just be looking for an entry confirmation once we break this neckline. So this is what happened. The price just took out this neckline impulsively. I didn't get an entry. I wanted to wait for the retest and then take an entry, right? So let's see how it played out. This was the retest. I wanted to see a bearish reversal candlestick such as the engulfing pattern and so on, right? So I was carefully looking at this on the 15 minutes time frame, and this is what I saw. So once I saw this impulsive move, this is the bearish engulfing, I just took the entry right here with my stop loss, and then my target was here. But that's not what happened. Price just shifted and then it pushed up and then hit my stop loss. But overall, this was a very solid trade. If you give me this trade 10 out of 10, I'll take it 10 times. As a trader, you need to know your system very well. You need to trust your system very well, such that even when you take a loss, you are still okay, because you know that if you see another entry that looks exactly like that, you're going to take that same entry, right? That is trading. Price hit our stop loss. I'm just going to delete everything, and then I'm going to go on the higher time frame. Price could have three types of pullback, right? We could have a low pullback, which I was thinking that this was the pullback. We could also have a medium pullback, maybe the 50% zone or the 61% zone of the Fibonacci, or price could even pull back here, right? Price could even come back to these highs before going down. This is still a solid downtrend, right? So this was just an early entry, but overall, it was a nice entry that I saw. So going forward this week, we will see how this structure will play out in this zone, if you're going to get any reversal pattern right here, or if this is going to form a flag that will break to the downside, because this is also an impulse. This could be a possible correction and also an impulse, right? We don't know what the market is going to do. As I said, we are not going to lead the market. We are just going to wait and then follow the market. So we will see what price will do going forward this week. This is the last trade I'm going to share with you. This was on Aussie dollar. Looking at this structure, we are bullish, right? So we have price just creating high highs and higher lows, but it's very, very corrective. We have the resistance trend line. Whenever price gets to this trend line, there is always a drop. We get to this trend line, price drops. We push to the upside, we get to this trend line, price drops. So when price got to this level, I was looking at what price will do when we get there, right? So I'm just going to zoom in, and then we will see the price action that we saw right here. and then the entry reason. So I'm just going to activate the beginning of the market open. You can see this where the market open, right? So I was just focusing on what price will do when we get to this level. So what I saw was head and shoulder pattern. This was a left shoulder, this was my head, and then I saw this right shoulder at this area of value. So I had my neckline right here. I'm just going to draw it in. This was my neckline, and I saw price just breaking this neckline impulsively. But if we go back, as you saw, this is actually an uptrend. So if I'm selling on an uptrend, what I'm doing is called counter trend trading, right? I'm trading against the trend, and this is not what you want to be doing as a beginner. As a beginner, you need to go with the trend. The trend is your friend. You don't want to go against the trend because the pressure is going to the upside. There are a lot of buyers in the market. Why are you selling, right? So this was actually a scalp trading. So back on the 1H time frame, I just took an entry right here, right? This was a break. This was a retest. I got in right here. And then what I did is I followed the rules of the head and shoulder pattern. That is the take profit level, right? So measure the head to the neck, and then I brought it right here. So this was just my take profit, and then this was my stop loss at the right shoulder. So when price got ahead my take profit, I was just out. I wasn't even looking forward to hold this trade all the way to the downside because I know that this is actually an uptrend and I don't want to risk it. So this was just my take profit, and then I was okay with that going forward. If you look at the current price, you can see price just pulled back and then continue its prior trend, right? That is why you don't want to be trading against the trend. If you are getting any value from these kind of videos, make sure you like, make sure you share, and also subscribe. I will leave the Telegram link below. If you're not part of the public Telegram, you can just join to get some educative content. God bless you all. Take care and have a good trading week.